Hello, and welcome to the Phoenix Wisdom Podcast. I am your host, Janet Sandberg, and today we are here with Keren Cardoza. Keren, welcome.
Hi, well, thank you for having me.
I'm so glad that you are here and honored that you have joined us to share your story on the podcast. Let's just start by having you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Keren. I'm from the UK, and I do my own podcast called Reactions and Randomness, which is basically just anything really, goofing around, having a bit of a laugh. It's a lot more lighter than this one. Doesn't delve into as much seriousness. Although sometimes you do have the occasional serious chat on there. But yeah, just like to have fun. And also I do some writing on the side as well. I'm getting into volunteering with Alzheimer's Society and Legacy, which is a youth work volunteering place. So yeah, I'm doing a lot of stuff at the moment.
Awesome. Yeah, all good things. So let's go back in your story and tell us what was going on in your life when you were considering not having one.
I can't really pinpoint a certain time, I guess. I feel like ever since, well, maybe as far back as like college, maybe like 17, 16, I'd kind of felt that way on and off, just kind of questioning a lot of stuff like my purpose and why I was here, especially I think especially since uni, which kind of wasn't really the best time because I dropped out. I didn't really have the best experience. I didn't really have the
Mm,
tools that were going to help me to succeed. And so I did kind of drop out and I did kind of have a period of wandering around and not really feeling like I had much to do. And you kind of watch people, people are like at your age, getting married and having kids and graduating, and you're just kind of sitting there like, oh, like twiddling your thumbs, not really knowing where you're going. It's still a struggle. I still haven't found paid work. I've done a lot of like unpaid stuff because I used to do acting, so that's what I studied in uni.
oh,
So
cool.
yeah, there was a period of time where I was like an extra.
Mhm.
But it was unpaid as well. So there's a lot of unpaid stuff being done. There was nothing really concrete. Just felt a bit kind of aimless. And I just kind of thought, what's the point? If I'm just here to be here, what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So then so many of us struggle with that, with our purpose. Like, is this all there is? And,
yeah,
why am I here? I'm not here to just like exist.
yeah,
There must be something more. And when we're not feeling or not knowing what that more is, it can just be so
yeah.
frustrating. Like, if this is all there is, then I don't need
Mm,
it.
yeah. I think Instagram and social media have made it so much worse for like
Yes.
comparison because you see so many people just they're getting engaged, they're buying houses, and you can see it in real time. And so you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, what am I doing? I'm just sitting here looking for the millionth job. Like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so hard not to get comparisonitis, even
yeah,
though we logically know that, people are only sharing the best parts of their stories and
yeah,
that they're also struggling with other things
yeah.
inevitably because everybody does, but it's so hard. So what changed? Like, you were there being like, "Ugh, what's the point?" Did you find out what the point is?
I think everybody is on a journey to discovering that point. I don't know if you ever really find that point. Like I'm still trying to find my purpose and my point. I think you kind of try out a few different things and you kind of see what sticks. But I think faith has been a big thing. I think getting out of your own head and looking at the bigger picture and, prayer and really just reaching out to whether you believe in God, whether you believe in a higher power, just reaching out to something bigger than you. And also looking around and seeing people have it worse. There's people without homes, you know, like without family, like there's so many things around you to be grateful for. I think that's a huge part of it. Uh, I do think that you have like good days and bad days. I don't think you ever really get out completely. I think there was a period of time where I wasn't struggling as much and where I wasn't thinking about suicide as often, but it sort of did come back and I was kind of like, oh, why is it back? And I think the mindset is not really thinking, I'm out of the woods, I'm never gonna feel like this ever again. It's sort of
Mhm.
more you accept the good days as well as the bad days and you manage as best as you can and you continue on the progress journey. It's not necessarily a straight line, it's circle. And you have
Yeah.
to believe that whoever is around you, whether it's God, whether it's your family, whether it's just your own self, you have to believe that you have those people and that thing and that foundation. to help you and to support you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. How does it help you to believe in something bigger than yourself?
I think it's just believing that there is a bigger purpose, even if you don't necessarily know what that purpose is. Like believing that there's something bigger, something more to strive towards. Believing that when you do die, there's gonna be a heaven waiting for you. There's gonna be a God that loves you and wraps his arms around you and says, "Well done. You did well. You didn't give up." And because how sad would it be to give up and find out that there was more that God had for you?
Mm,
That would be
mm,
so sad to fight to see oh, this is what I could have done in your life, and that was what I was gonna do, and you're never gonna know that until you live it. Just the anticipation of life and just the hope of like keep going. There's a scripture actually that I love in Isaiah, and it says, let me find it. It's Isaiah 41 verse 10, and it says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." And that is so powerful because it gives so much hope.
mhm.
And it just, even if you don't necessarily know what those things look like, having that as a foundation is really comforting to me.
Yeah, yeah, I believe that. Thank you for sharing that verse. That was beautiful.
You're welcome.
And, it's things like that where whether you're Christian or you're not, or you read the Bible or you don't, sometimes it's just whether that's a Bible verse or it's a quote from somebody else, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just really helpful and really beautiful
Yeah.
to have that reassurance that there
Mm.
is, something more.
Yeah, something anchoring you. I think that's
Mhm.
like the thing, just something that you can have to cling to, especially at Easter. It's so nice because you think about that more at Easter. I feel like as a Christian, just that hopefulness of the resurrection and the empty tomb, and wow, Jesus is alive. It's amazing. That it's so much more grounding at Easter when you think about it more.
Yeah.
Rather than just going about life.
Yeah. Yeah. So how have you put that faith into practice, like every day, and have it, be part of your life that keeps you going?
I think just trying to be positive, look on the positive side, lean into God more, and focus on other people and focus on other things, and get out of your own head. I
Yeah.
mean, there's so much to be thankful for. There's so much to be grateful for, and just going around and seeing who might need you, who might need a phone call or a hug or a text or just any little thing. Yeah, there's a friend of mine that's really struggling at the moment, and just being able to support her and bless her has really helped me. It's really given me a sense of like, this is why you're here. You're here to help other people. You're here to support them. You're here to, be a shoulder for them. What would it be like for that person if you weren't here? Would they still have people? I'm sure they would. It's not only just going to be me supporting them, but I'm sure it must help them too to know that they have me to call and to text and to be around.
Absolutely. And the more support, the better. You can never have
Yeah,
enough, even if they have
yeah,
other people, and everybody has their own little ways of being helpful that are a little bit different from each other.
yeah. All contribute something different.
Mhm, mhm. Having that support is really amazing. And also just what you said about just getting out of your head and doing
Yeah,
something for somebody else. Like, I'm
yeah,
pretty sure there's statistics on that if you're feeling down, if you help somebody else, it automatically makes you feel better.
yeah. No, definitely. I believe that. I believe that because you're not thinking so much about you and what you don't have and what you've lost and all these different things. It can become very self-centered.
Mhm.
It's not to say that depressed people are self-centered. I hope I'm not self-centered anyway. But it can get very like this is what I've lost and this is the things that are happening to me. And sometimes it's just like, Karen, snap out of it. There are other people in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially like you hear about people in Korea and all the things that they have to go through, and there's still so much hope, and there's still so much things that they're holding on to, and they're still fighting, and they're still. And me and my little situation, sometimes it's like, why can't I?
Mhm. Yeah. What are your favorite ways of helping people? Obviously just supporting friends when they need it, but is there anything else that you do?
I had to send a text to people, and I had to I'm a gift giver. I like giving gifts, especially like if people need the gift, like if people need like some food or like I think I think a friend of mine that I said was struggling needed like an airbed, and so I was happy to send her that on Amazon because I don't live near her, so it's
Mhm.
unfortunate I can't really go and see her that much. Yeah, it's nice to be just around for people and be an ear. I'm not the best at phone calls, to be honest. I don't really like phone calls, but yeah, just like a text or even making time for the phone call so that I can show them that yeah, I do care about you and I will
Yeah.
sacrifice what I don't want so I can be there for you.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
I think the phone call is a bit of a lost art these days.
Yeah.
Before when that was all we had,
Mm.
you would just have to phone people and have a conversation
Yeah.
with them. And
I
now
hate it.
it's more convenient to text because you
Yeah.
can be multitasking.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to sit there and listen for 5 hours. But sometimes that's what people need, you know?
Yeah. But I think also, like, yes, it's the convenience, but also the fact that we're multitasking while we're texting, we're not giving that person our full attention.
Yeah.
And and the sound of that person's voice, is all
Mm.
in and of itself, regardless of what's being said, can help somebody feel better. Oh,
Yeah.
I think we need to get back to the good old-fashioned phone call a little bit. The people that we don't
Yeah.
get to see regularly, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely working on it.
Yes. So, what advice would you give to somebody who is struggling?
I'll just say keep hanging on, you know. I think allow yourself to feel your feelings, allow yourself to struggle, allow yourself don't rush the process. Don't think, oh I need to get better by this point, by that point. Everybody has their own trajectories and their own timelines and their own, but at the same time, don't wallow. Don't get so bogged down in it. There's always going to be a brighter tomorrow. There's always going to be people around you. You can always, even if you don't believe it, just lift up your eyes. Just say a little prayer. And if you don't believe, just say, God, maybe you're out there, maybe you're not. Just give him a chance. He'll change your life. He really will. Even if it's just like the slightest little lift, even if it's just the slightest little piece after a 1 second prayer. Sometimes that's all you need.
Mhm.
And yeah, just continue to reach out, just continue to keep going, one foot in front of the other. As cliche as that sounds, sometimes that's all it is, it's the little tiny things. Eat your favorite food, go and take a walk. I love to write, so sometimes even that's helpful, like getting out of my
Mhm.
own head in that sense, just writing
Yes.
fiction and, getting into another character's head. It's so fun. Like, try something like that, definitely. Anything you can do to get yourself to a positive mindset or out of your own head,
Mhm.
is but at the same time, feel your feelings. Allow yourself to just be who you are at that point. Whether it's sad, happy, angry, scared, whatever you feel, it's okay to
Mhm.
feel it, but don't let yourself get weighed down by it, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, feel it and label it. I
Yeah,
am terrible at just, shoving things down because, like, I don't have time to deal with it right now, or I
yeah,
just don't want to deal with it right now.
yeah,
But also making time for yourself to just
yeah, definitely.
allow those feelings to come up and out and be like, what exactly am I feeling?
Yeah,
Because sometimes, you get the sadness and the anger and like, it all just gets so muddled up together.
yeah,
So just, writing it down, and so you can identify, here I'm,
mm,
feeling really depressed, but maybe it's not actually sadness I'm feeling. Maybe it's frustration. Maybe it's overwhelm.
yeah.
Maybe
And
it's
maybe sometimes like finding out why you feel that way as well, so you can
Mhm.
maybe rectify it.
Yeah.
Because
And just
sometimes,
getting it out of your head, like you said, like, it'll
yeah,
just swirl around in there and you just keep going over and over and over
yeah,
the same things, but just getting it
yeah.
up and out.
And sometimes you won't know necessarily what the answer is or if there even is an answer, but
Mhm.
sometimes you will, and that will help you because you can just find out what it is and you can make that process of putting things right or getting things in order. Therapy is a good thing. I know people always say that, but
Mhm.
yeah, just
Yeah,
anything that you can do that will help you feel better because everybody's different. Not everybody's gonna go to therapy and everybody's gonna pray. Just whatever is good for you and whatever helps you, I'd say find that really and do it.
definitely, definitely. And yeah, sometimes when you are writing things down, you kinda come up with the answers just through the process of writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a
And
journaler? Do you journal?
I used to be a journaler.
Mm.
I wrote in a journal, if not every day, then every few days from the time I was 14 until I was probably 34, like for a good 20 years.
Wow.
And then my ex-husband read my journals,
Oh no.
and which was a huge invasion of privacy.
Yeah, I can
And
imagine.
I was terrified to write in a journal after
Mm.
that because
Mm.
I couldn't be sure that anything I wrote down, like my deepest, innermost thoughts that I could, that found safety on the page for so many years, I couldn't be guaranteed that he wouldn't read those thoughts and use them against me.
Wow.
So I stopped journaling, and I have tried so many times, over the last 10 years or so to pick it up again because I loved it. And I love
Yeah.
looking back now and reading, past me and what she was up
Mm.
to. But I I just and it's like any habit, it's just it's hard to start again
Yeah.
when you've fallen off with it. So
Mm.
I but yeah, now I'm inspired again having this conversation
Oh.
with you.
Oh, I'm glad I could inspire you. I'm so glad. There's a couple of apps actually that you can get on your phone and you can put like a lock on it. You can do like a fingerprint thing or a pattern so that nobody
Yeah.
can get into
Well,
it.
that stopped being a worry like 10 years ago. Like, I haven't been with my ex-husband for forever, but it's
Oh,
just, it was such obviously while I was with him, the fear was real, but even
yeah,
since I haven't been with him, I think it's just getting back into the habit again that's been
yeah.
the trouble. Raising kids and spending time with them, being a single mom, there wasn't a lot of downtime.
Mm.
So, yeah, but now I don't really have any excuses.
Yeah, do it,
And I
girl,
keep
do
buying
it.
journals, I just keep not writing in them. I have an entire shelf full of beautiful books to write in.
Yeah, honestly, me too. I'm always starting journals and then stopping them and starting them again and stopping them. I'm not great at the whole autobiography thing, and my thing is fiction. I love writing fiction so much because you can get into the head of another person. It's so fun. I don't know if I'm just really
Mhm.
nosy. I love
Yeah.
it. But yeah, when it comes to me and my own life, I maybe write like a page or two and I'll be like, oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't have to be long. You don't have to write pages and pages and pages. You can
Yeah,
just be like, "This is how I'm feeling right now," and it can be like 3 sentences. But
yeah.
just to sort of, yeah, get it out and acknowledge it, if nothing else.
Yeah.
I have a friend, she was actually on the podcast, I don't know when, quite a long time ago now. Her name is Parrish Wilson, and she's a writing coach.
Oh wow.
And so, yeah, she teaches you how to write therapeutically,
Mm.
which is really neat. She hosts like groups where you can get together with like other writers and all sit down and write together, like just at the same time. Um, and workshops and stuff like that. She does all kinds of neat stuff, and I keep thinking, "Oh, I should do that." But
Mm.
again, making the time for it
Mm.
and deciding that that's something that should be done,
That's
that would be good
that
for
is so
me.
cool. I've never heard of it. I've heard of like creative writing coaches, but I've never heard of a therapeutic writing coach. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because she's a writer and a therapist. So she's like,
Oh,
"Why don't I put these two things together?"
that is really cool. It's like
Yeah.
if you wanna get back into it, maybe even if you just put 10 minutes aside at lunch or 10 minutes aside, right before you go to bed or something like that, just really dedicate some periodic time to focusing on that thing and writing about how
Mhm.
you're feeling in that moment. I think that could be good if you really wanna pick it back up again.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you? Do you keep, like, a gratitude journal or anything?
I don't, it's like I was saying, I've got maybe like 4 books, 4 diaries that maybe I've started and like
Right.
stopped just because every day is a bit much. I can't keep, I don't know. I just get a bit like, oh, can I stop now? But if you told me to keep a fiction diary, oh, I could do that all year.
Well, you could do that. You could, pretend it's somebody else, but really it's your own feelings that you're assigning to them, and then it would
But then I
seem
know
like
it was my
fiction.
feelings and I'd be bored.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Are you
I think
working
it's
on
whatever works for
any
you. Sorry, what?
I was gonna say, are you working on any fiction with the aim of publishing?
Yeah, actually, there's a story I'm working on called Second Chances. It's about two best friends who fell out, and then it's about their journey kind of back together.
Okay. Well, you'll
Sorry,
have
it
to
sounds really
keep us
boring, doesn't it?
posted.
You paused
That's
for the
alright.
longest time and then went, okay. That sounds so boring, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, to summarize it quickly without giving anything away.
That was the best summary I could do. Well,
That's
the people I've given it to so far like it. So hopefully my description was more boring than my writing.
I'm sure the writing will be fantastic. You have been a joy to talk to.
Thank
So
you.
thank you so much for being here and
Thank you for
for,
having me.
yeah, just chatting about life and things and purpose and passions. It's all important.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Remember that you are loved, you are worthy, you are valuable, you are meant for more, and that it really does get better. If you are in crisis, there are numbers that you can call or text to get the help that you need. That information for Canada and the US is in the description below each episode. If you are in immediate crisis, please call 911. We love you, and I hope you'll listen again.